today's episode of Sports Ugu, we feature the big machines normally associated with high speed. So sit back, safeten your safety belt and enjoy the speed of lightning, because Sports Ugu got you covered. Kenyan's biking culture is more often than not associated with reckless behavior on the roads, mostly accused of overspeeding and pulling dangerous stunts. This week, Sports Ugu meet Road Warriors, a group of riders who believe they can eradicate all these stereotypes and use the sport as a source of fun, entertainment, and livelihood. Edward is the Road Warriors group leader and is also the current Kenya Superbike champion and will be defending his title this year. He took us through their journey as a group and spoke of the challenges they face when dealing with these heavy machines.
Okay. I go by the name Edu the Chef, aka ETC, Edu the Champ. Was currently the champion of the 2018. This year defending my championship. Yeah.
My name is Nick. I go by Freeman. I'm at the item. First time racer. Learning how to race. But I've been biking for long. But I'm first time racer.
Okay, biking started in a very weird way. I had passion all along since I was a kid. My dad used to ride little bike to Dogo to Kenya Power, to DT. Since he used to work for the Kenya Power, so hapo nianza kupenda motorcycles. Coming along, kajipata the career I took. I'm a chef, professionally I'm a chef. So, and I do a lot of outside catering and all. Nikajipata events, I get so many events in a day and I need to tackle them all at a go. So I got to buy a bike and now I used it to just do my daily jobs.
No, I'm new to racing, not new to biking.
Okay.
No. I got a bike for passion of MotoGP. I used to keep up with MotoGP every day. And I told my sister one time, I'll get a bike. One time, I'll get a bike. So soon enough, I think when I just started working, I got some money, put money down and got a bike. I've been riding for 2 years now, but I just started racing.
We have a couple of events. I'm a member and also a representative of the Road Warriors motorcycle community. We have quite a number of events. We actually just finished 5th May. We had the drag race, and now the drag race is an event where two bikes go head to head, and the first person to cross the finish line takes it. So now the next event will be a track event, which we have a circuit at the river called the Whistling Morans. It will be on June 23rd. So yeah, we go track and road races.
So what are some of your challenges that you faced so far when you started your racing career?
Makarao.
But hey, stop the highway. Sometimes it's not so fun for bikers. Because sometimes you're harassed for no good reason. things that you have. Insurance, it's already there, but just carrying it. But anyway, challenges as a racer. I don't think I'm in such a good position for that because I've just started racing. But I could say it's an expensive sport. Yeah. Because to keep these bikes in the shape that you want it to perform when you're going on track is costly. You need to service the bike, make sure you have the right oil, the right plugs, get the right air filters, get the tires set, suspension set, and costs money. But at the end of the day, you do it for the passion. When you sit down, you drop down to gear 1, visors down, and you're waiting to exit. The adrenaline there is too much. It's too good that it's worth it. That you keep up. And biking community is growing, so we're happy about that. And hopefully, tutakuwa wengi, we can be able to do much as a bigger group, and these challenges can be mitigated for the group.
It's totally different. We have very big bikes up to 1440 cc. That's a lot of horses right there. 1440 cc. So kutoka tu kwa a very small bike, you jump to that and you don't know how to control or actually own that power. Inaweza kuwa quite challenging, so we always advise people to just upgrade pole slowly. At least you can enjoy biking for longer. So unaweza patia mtu boda 1000 cc of a bike
na ataanguka tu hapo,
ataenda mbali. So na uwezi jua outcome itakuwaje. So and that's why you get accidents. The bikes are very minimal kwa sababu watu wako na discipline and guys are patient on their bikes.
Key among the necessities of a rider is personal safety, and the team overwhelmed us with the amount of investment they put into the gear just to ensure that every time a rider takes to the road, he gets back in one piece.
Actually want to keep me going. It's what keep us going, unajua. So the adrenaline part of it, it gives you freedom. But it's also risky for someone who's not skilled, someone who's not ready. It takes some time and patience to get to where you can actually speed and race or participate in this kind of events. So, adrenaline, you're in your life.
You're in the town.
A week without even a week renewing. Kumbili bila kupanda bike stress.
Unasikia ni kama something bro.
Unasikia ni kama unatembea.
Wacha nitoke job haraka. Catch up with bypass ni.
So that's the thing that keeps you going.
Yeah. It's like so that's not what we do daily. That's the passion part of it. So as long as kuna time ya familia, time ya job yako, then now you go to passion.
But for anyone who's joining biking, the adrenaline is very good. You get to one place from point A to point B in a very short time. But what I'd like to encourage everyone is safety. Safety is key, man. You need to invest in a good jacket. You can take a hit in case you go down. You need to invest in some good gloves to protect your hands, riding pants. Yeah. Get some nice boots for riding. History ya kuna watu wana ride slippers, sport na marabo. Asipo, no, get some good boots. Invest in a very good helmet.
Also, if you have to carry someone too,
And if you have to carry someone, the same thing. Vile umejifunga, funge pia yeye.
Kumatch. As much as you're using that motorcycle to do your job, pia ukue safe. Hii maneno ya kuruka highway from anywhere, the bodabodas, you'll never find a biker doing it. So, generally,
the biking society is good. I understand what you're saying. It's good because I'd say me where I'm staying, we used to have one bike, say maybe 2 years ago. We used to know him, really moja. Paps Gomba, na ZX6. Tunamsikia tu akipita hapo. He's one, but right now,
you don't know who is who.
Hata mtu wangu wa boda hapo nje ananiambia na ameanza kuwa wengi sana. Naomba it's good. Hata nyinyi tafuta pesa kidogo ya to enjoy bikes. It's really great. And it's good. It's positive.
For these machines to perform at the highest level, require utmost seriousness, and major as he is well known is the mechanic who ensures the bikes are in good shape. He spared no detail in explaining to our team what these big toys are made.
There's a joke I used to give guys, especially if you have a big machine on an open highway. It's the equivalent of sitting on a jet fighter, on top, not inside, on top. Because it's the rush of the wind. You're doing 0 to 120 in 6 seconds, 200 comes easy. So there's a thrill. You know, you get the kind of experience people don't get. Quite a number of guys who ride the big bikes get to do, it might not be legal to say this, but 250, 300 is a speed they can get to do daily. You know, it's a different life altogether. Really, because you find with a small bike, guys who are very, who understand a bit about cars know that the red line starts at around 6,000 RPM. Now for bikes, the fun begins at around 6,000, the big bikes, because you have a red line of 11,000, which is where you try accelerate with a car to that level, you'll destroy the engine. So bikes, the fun begins where the car's RPM would be dead, you know, like where you'd kill the engine. Most torques start at 4,000, 6,000, all the way to 11, which means they're very high-speed machines. So even as you work on them, you're dealing with parts that have very tight tolerances to be able to handle such high RPMs without mechanical breakdown. So yeah, basically as you work on them, this is a very messy engine right now. But when I'm done with it, there's an engine back there, I don't know if you saw it, thinly wrapped with cling film. Clean it, make it spotless, wrap it nicely, keep the dust out. When you assemble, try keep it very hygienic. You end up with a perfect engine at the end of the day. I've done a degree in engineering, so it helps. It makes it easier for you to understand what the manufacturer had in mind when they designed the engine. If you come in as a layman, you could start off slowly. You'd end up maybe mostly as a technician because you don't have the knowledge to understand everything. So as a technician, you're basically like, I call them spanner boys. So you just be told fit this, fit that. You have no idea why it's being fitted, why it has to be done like that. But from an engineering standpoint, you'll understand it better because now you know exactly what the manufacturer had in mind. You can be able to tell a manufacturing defect immediately you open an engine up and, you know, find a way to go around it, either resolve it or work it. Business as usual is on the spanner boy's end. You know, he just walks in, fits, goes home happy. As an engineer, you go home. I'll tell you one thing. The next 2-3 nights I'm not going to sleep well because I'll be thinking of solutions to this. The spanner boy will sleep. In fact, the minute he walks out this garage, he's forgotten everything. I'll sleep on it for a couple of nights, come up with a solution, then rebuild. That's now the difference. But anyone can work on it. You know, as a technician, I ride an 800cc bike, my own, and I've done this kind of work before. I know what it's like to do a rushed repair. My clients, I usually make sure everything is perfect. As an engineer, you tend to overlook some things. You're in a hurry. You're halfway through the repair, someone tells you, I need you here right now. So, you know, you quickly tighten, jump on the bike. Can be scary. I've had a few scares on the road. Luckily, no incidences. But yeah, a few scares where, you know, I forgot to tighten a bolt. So the bike acted in a very funny way. Yeah.
Bikers' happiness is the same one as the motorists. As for the road warriors, safety and speed is their daily meal when on these bikes.